Welcome to the Revenue Cycle Rundown with Keybridge Medical Revenue Care. Our live show features respected industry experts that will take us on a deeper dive into today's hottest rev cycle topics. We're glad you're here for the rundown. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome.
Welcome to the Revenue Cycle Rundown with Keybridge Medical Revenue Care.
That was weird. Little technical glitch. Anyways, hey everybody, welcome to the Revenue Cycle Rundown. My name is Brian Garver, your host. I am here live in Las Vegas at HFMA Annuals event. Let's see, today is June 25th. I know this because it's my youngest daughter Olivia's 21st birthday today. She's actually out here in Vegas with us, so we're enjoying that. But I'd like to introduce a special friend and a special guest that we have on our show today. His name is Xander Younce. Xander is with Help Financial. He's a resident of the great state of Michigan. Say hi and tell us about yourself, Xander.
All right. First of all, thank you, Brian. Thank you to the Keybridge team for putting this together. Happy to be here. Brian and I are probably, 100 yards apart here in Vegas, but we figured this would be the best delivery model to get this to the folks out there in the web. But Xander Younce, born and raised in Michigan, worked for a company called Help Financial. We have been doing long-term payment options, funded payment plans with providers exclusively for 35 years. So this is all we know. They don't arm me with too much stuff. Just here's a product, go do it. And I love being out here, connecting with providers. And then certainly if we can keep the patient at the forefront of what we're doing in our industry here at HFMA, then we're doing something right. So, pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Thanks for being with us, Xander. So we got in Sunday night late. We got in on a late flight out of Indiana. We landed in Vegas at 11 p.m. And the pilot came on when we landed. He said, "Welcome to Las Vegas." He said, "The current temperature is 102 degrees. Has this heat just been hit you in the face like it did us?"
Yeah, you walk out any doors here going outside, you kind of get slapped back about 3 feet with all the heat that hits you in the face, like standing under a blow dryer. But I've heard the pools are decently cold, so that's what I've been told from some people.
Yeah, I heard that too. My family's out enjoying the pools today, so
nice.
I'm a little envious, but
Nice.
I'm staying comfortable in here. But you're right. I remember stepping outside for the first time when we landed, and it was breezy, but the hot air was blowing in my face, and my eyes started watering. It was literally like taking a hair dryer and yeah.
I texted my wife. I said my eyeballs are sweating. I don't know if my eyeballs can sweat, but it feels like my eyeballs are sweating here. So.
Love it. So, Xander, tell me about your connectivity to HFMA, first of all. This is a big, HFA is such a big industry and such a big group of people. How has it impacted your life and your professional career?
Yeah, so a multitude of ways, right? I started at Help Financial 8 years ago now, and I kind of learned the business inside out, worked into operations, worked up, and then got into a sales position or business development. And it's like, okay, what do we do? Well, we go to these shows. We go to these HFMA shows. We connect with providers. We connect with other industry experts in HFMA, AHAM, amongst others. But HFMA primarily is where I started, was my education. I came from, I was a baseball coach, and then I worked in the staffing and recruiting industry. Had known the family at Help for a long time. Finally got hooked up to where it was a place where it made sense for us to come together. But I knew. So what do we do? What do we do here at Help? And then as you start peeling back the onion layers of healthcare finance and how many touch points are on each individual account, and it's like, if I didn't have HFMA as a baseline of just understanding, being curious in sessions, I have no idea where our little piece fits into that puzzle. So. I've got certifications, CRCR, CHFP. I've learned that way. They do an excellent job of setting that up. And that was a COVID project when we're, homebound or office bound, ripped through those things there. But it's just a perfect place for people to get together and truly network and learn about, your little corner of the world, how that impacts maybe my little corner of the world. And if we got round peg, round hole, we can make something work. If not, let's figure out a better way. It's collaboration at its finest. If you come here with the right mindset, They want to learn and be curious about things. And this is the Super Bowl of it, right? This is HFMA annual, man. There's a couple thousand people here that all have solutions, all have problems, all have, let's just try and figure it out together and make it better for everybody.
Agreed. I look forward to this event every year. There's just so many resources and so many great people to connect with. And, networking, I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but is there a better way to really be curious and engage in any industry other than to network with, other experts in the business? So I agree. I've loved it. I'm enjoying this event too. And it's really been a buzz and lots going on. So tell us about Help Financial. Let me just tee that up real quick though. The self-pay world in healthcare today is more critical than ever. Hospitals depend on those self-pay balances much, much more than they needed to 10, 20 years ago. So collecting those self-pay balances and providing the patient with an excellent billing and collections experience is critical to the provider. So tell me what Help Financial does and how you guys do it, what makes you unique.
Yeah, so as I alluded to, we've been doing this exclusively for 35 years. We play in no other sandboxes. This is our home, right? We are trying to bridge the gap for that unwanted, unexpected hospital bill that a family or a patient incurs, and these high dollar out-of-pocket responsibilities used to be a very small percentage of that net patient revenue for a facility. Community, system, whatever it may be, it used to be a very small piece. Well, that piece is growing and growing with these high deductible health plans, right? And people are having to hit the hip, for lack of a better term, for a couple $1,000, $2,500. And hospitals are set up to be excellent clinical care, and then that also carries over into the way that they try to operate their back end or their business office, right? They want to provide the best care possible. Oftentimes, right, that puts them behind the proverbial financial 8-ball. Yeah, give us $10 a month for the foreseeable future. It's amazing how many times we run across that, right? It's like we've got this AR that's been on they're making their payments. They're paying $20 a month. We just try to figure out a solution to where it makes more sense for the patient and the provider, specifically in the rural community facilities where it's hard to ask for that money, right? Your kids go to school together. You see them at the grocery store, but even in the large health systems, right? Empowering patients through education and letting them know all of their payment options. Hey, if you can pay me prior to service, boom, big glaring headlights. Pay me now. Big smile on your face, cash, check, credit, however you want to pay. Let's do it. And then oftentimes it rolls into like card on file, 3 or 4 equal installments. Well, when that number gets to like $2,400, not many people can just go $600 deep for 4 months. Help comes in at that point, and through a seamless transition, the same way that they're having conversations with their patients currently, that provider is now available to offer a 12, 24, up to 60 months, 0% interest, long-term option that puts the patient in the driver's seat and determines what affordability is for them. They get to make that selection on a monthly payment that fits their family need. And then on the benefit to the provider is Help now becomes the servicer, the billing, collecting, communication piece for the provider, as well as providing a net funding up front. So gets them their cash up front, allows us to do the back end billing and collecting. Everybody's happy. It's a win-win-win truly for everybody, because the patient is now in something where they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's not just going through old hat and saying, yeah, here's 25, here's $25. Well, let's figure this out. Let's have a dialogue, right? Let me understand all my options and financial assistance off the board. If I can't make it short term, let's see what we can do. And that's all we're trying to do, is put the patient in an educated position to make a decision on what's affordable for them. Not just because a credit score says it or something, but there's that soft feel as well. As I've got 3 boys, as you know, you've got the 2 girls you raised. Money just seems to disappear, right? So when we had to haul all of them in there for a strep test the other day, and we know it's going to be $142.13 for an office visit, that's all of a sudden we're looking at $420 because the boys aren't feeling good. And that could happen, as you know, tomorrow. Yeah. It could happen the next day. We're just trying to arm folks with the ability to be flexible, find affordability, and then also certainly help out with the time savings and some cash up front for our provider partners.
And I think that's well, first of all, it's always about the patient experience.
Yep.
That's why you and I exist. That's what
Yep.
we are passionate about. But after that patient experience, these rural hospitals, especially in America, are operating on a razor thin margin today.
Yep.
Operating in the red often.
Yep.
And they're looking for ways to influx cash into their system and into their cash flow. And I agree. I think this is the right way to do it because the patient wins and the hospital wins. And the hospital needs that cash,
Yep.
Not over the next 36 months. They need their portion now.
Yep.
And I think that's what patient financing programs like what you offer do for them. So Keybridge and Help Financial share some like clients. Xander and I see each other all over the place at different HFMA events, different clients and those kind of things. But, one thing I'm seeing a lot, Xander, is this real struggle in healthcare because of the credit reporting and the lack of, what we're seeing is just this, the stress being put on healthcare providers and the leverage being taken away in bad debt to collect. So what I'm seeing and from our healthcare clients is that they're really focusing on maximizing recovery sooner in the revenue cycle. They have no choice because waiting until those last moments in bad debt is just not dependable. And it's going to continue to get harder. How's that impacting, your world and your clients, the new regulations and the lack of credit reporting?
Yeah, because it was so easy to collect prior to the new legislation, right? It's not like half the cards in the deck weren't already stacked against them. Let's throw a couple more in that pile and make it even harder to collect. But no, it's exactly what you said. We're trying to expedite it to the front end. The patient access teams have gotten so much attention here the last couple of years, mainly coming out of COVID. I think it started to trend that way prior to, but those are important people in your facility. And if you're now able to provide an estimate, right? If you go buy furniture or refrigerator, what's the next question that they ask you? Well, how are you going to pay for that? How are you going to finance that, right? So now we've set ourselves up to where we can based on the estimate provided to the patient, we can actually enroll them in a payment plan, and they'll know what their monthly payment is prior to service. Same with point of service, right? If they can come in and make their down payment, and then they have the ability to put anything that would be out of pocket responsibility after the fact. Well, they can enroll with help, and they can know that my monthly payment is going to be X for the foreseeable 12, 24 months.
Yeah.
And some light at the end of the tunnel, which creates that peace of mind, not only for the patient, but for the provider, for the doc, right? The doc's going to be able to come in there. Those cancellation rates are going to go down. And, they're not going to have that awkward conversation with the patient, because that's not what a clinician's there to do. They're there to provide excellent care for the patient. But yeah, it has become early and often is a term that we use a lot around our office is, how often can we get information in front of them, not just helps information, not just payment plans, but here's how you pay, here's where you pay, here's what you pay at this time, just over communication of the opportunity to make payment. Because once it gets to the back end and they've received their 3-4 statements and you haven't heard from them at that point, it's front page news, right? Oh, under $500, you're not going to report your credit. What am I going to, what am I going to pay this bill for when I've got to pay my car, I've got to pay my phone,
That's right.
I've got to pay rent. So, they're not doing this any service. They're doing a disservice with that. But
it's interesting. It's interesting to me how America, we struggle with healthcare in America. People often are disgruntled with the quality of healthcare, even at times. Yet, it seems like federal regulations just keep making it more difficult for healthcare providers to have the cash to do the things necessary to provide better healthcare services.
Yep.
And it's frustrating to me. And I mean, I don't want to go off on this tangent, but the credit reporting is one of them. But even before that, I mean, further upstream, I mean, the third-party payers, whether it's insurance or government payers, and the denial rates and the difficulty in reworking denials and getting those paid. These hospitals can't even get paid appropriately for the services they are doing. Yet America knows this is a problem. Americans are frustrated with the quality of healthcare, but it's about money. I mean, if there's no money, how can it get better?
If they fix it and start paying, what's that going to do to the American insurance holders' policy, right? That premium is just going to go up. They're going to find their margin somewhere else. They always do. They found it, through cyber attacks and hacking, right? It's a little backwards in the way it is. It's not keeping that patient at the forefront like we talked about throughout. Yeah. And yeah, you mentioned we could spend another hour left to grab a drink later and talk through the denials crisis, but we're talking about a small piece. That is a major piece, and just getting paid on what you agreed to in a service contract with the numbers on there, and you're still receiving less because of why. I don't know. It doesn't make sense in any other industry.
It's not regulated. There is no federal regulation on that. Yet here we are with the credit reporting, making it more difficult.
The big three ordering, a widget from a supplier and getting X amount of widgets at this price and only paying them 30% of it. Like that just wouldn't fly. You'd never see that widget maker.
Right. Or when you go buy a car, you go buy your car and you're like, here's 50% of the bill for the car because I don't agree with the rest of it.
Don't come get it. Don't come get my car.
Yeah. So, hey, on to a deeper topic yet, and then we'll go down the home stretch here and wrap up. But a lot of the folks that I've been interviewing in our show, the Revenue Cycle Rundown, I like to get into the power of people. At the end of the day, it is about people. This industry is about people and partnerships. And a word that I've been using and I really like to talk about is the word significance. How do I live a life of significance, both personally and professionally? And I guess I'd like to ask you, Xander, as our guest today, what does that mean to you? What does a life of significance mean to you? And how does that guide you through both your personal and your professional life?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one and the same. My personal and my professional are I'm the same guy regardless. I hope I'm putting smiles on faces. I'm allowing people to have a good time. But the significance comes for me, and as I mentioned earlier, it's the three young boys at home. It's my wife at home. It's our individual family, aside from mom, brother, in-laws, and things of that nature. But everything I do is for those three boys. I want them to be able to play every sport that they want to play. I want them to do it and have everything that they need and or most oftentimes want, except for the ice cream request every day. We can limit those, but. I mean, growing up, I went to a small private school, so not to get too off on a tangent, but I was instilled some good values, some church-driven values, and that's just stuff I've carried, man. The golden rule, and especially what we're doing in patient experience can be very transactional, right? It can be, hey, you owe this, pay this, that's it. But if we deepen that into, and there was a topic earlier on one of these sessions I hope to get to, humanizing that transactional piece of it, basically, right? Same as if we're in the vendor hall or exhibit hall and we're a vendor and there's providers, right? What are we calling ourselves, vendors and providers? But we're just people out here. We're all doing our job, right? So my goal when I come to these events, like you said, is create actual relationships, not just I'm Xander at Help, I do this. No, it's like I'm Xander at Help. I've got a beautiful wife. I've got three awesome boys. I love playing hockey and golf. I stink at both most times, but I'm here for a good time. And what do you do? Tell me about your role, because one day they'll figure out that I work for Help Financial and I do patient financing, and if and when there's a need, I got a chance to get a call picked up, or maybe they call me. That's the only goal. It's just to leave some type of impact that hey, I'm an all right guy. I assume I'm trustworthy. But I'm a straight shooter, and I want to be, as friendly as possible to anybody and everybody. Make sure they have a good time.
And that's really one of the biggest reasons we invited you onto the show today. Yep. Help Financial's a great company, but Xander Younce is a great man, and it is about people.
Yeah.
At the end 100%. Of the day, it's the people around us and in our industry that are impacting others in a positive way. you know, and that's the kind of guy I see you as, someone who is positively impacting other vendors, providers, strangers, your family, you know, anybody you come in contact with. You just have that type of personality where you're looking to make a positive impact in their life. And that, to me, is a life of significance.
Perfect.
You know?
I appreciate that very much. And
Yeah,
I would
absolutely.
reciprocate and say the same thing. And I know people know that because you're out there and you're teaching classes on how to be a culture impactor. So kudos to you as well. We hear nothing but good things from the Keybridge folks and our joint clients about Brian Garver. So
yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's already been 20 minutes. It's been
That went
great
fast,
chatting with you. It did
fast.
fly by.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great sessions out here in Vegas at HFMA. So I know Xander and I both are going to hop over those. I've got a 3:00 with another healthcare provider out of Indiana, actually. So we're going to wrap up. I just want to thank you again, Xander, for being a great man, a great advocate to our industry. We need more Xander Younces out there. And to all of you watching, thanks for joining us on the Revenue Cycle Rundown. Have a great day, and keep your head up and keep moving forward. We'll see you. Thanks.
I appreciate it. Thank you.